Okay, so the reason I'm recording this video today is to discuss what some of the pros and some of the cons are of going to university in the UK. Okay, I'm neither for nor against, to be honest. I can relate to both sides, although it has to be said that I did go to university, graduated 2016, and have since had time to reflect on the whole experience, and thought this video might well be useful for prospective students in the future. So feel free to type and comment away with opinions, feedback, whatever you like on this topic. So with regards to the pros, one of the great things about university is that it increases people's independence and autonomy, so they can ideally look after themselves in the future without their parents and doing all the housework. They become responsible often for paying bills, for their own washing, cooking, etc., rent. So yes, they become more autonomous adults, ready to move on into the world of work at a later date, without the need to learn those skills later. They also acquire a sense of self-discipline, as in order to pass exams, which are often many exams compared to A-levels, as well as a lot of coursework. You need to have a lot of self-discipline, know how to manage your time properly, to make sure you get everything in by the deadline and all your revision done in time for exams. Another positive aspect about going to university is that you grow intellectually. You study a lot of theories, normally on the topic that you are specialising in, and you learn how to form coherent arguments, how to write an essay that is well balanced, and to express yourself clearly and effectively. You also become more of a free thinker because you get exposed to so many different opinions, so it encourages you to become more open-minded and to sort of weigh up a whole host of information, of sources to decide what you believe, what your argument is. So as well as writing skills, you improve your ability to make a coherent argument, also to work in groups, to produce presentations, speak in front of the group of adults. You improve your exam skills, time management skills, organisational skills, social skills. So all these things are very beneficial for when it comes to moving on into the working world. Now, with regards to the cons, I think for me, and this isn't the case for everyone, a real con was the fact that I had to get in debt to go to university in this country. If you're not from the UK, and if you are, well, you know this, we're encouraged to take out a loan with Student Finance England in order to, or Student Finance, whichever part of the UK you're from, Scotland, etc., in order to fund our studies, which by the way is now like almost 10 grand a year, 9 grand is it? And also to fund our maintenance, which is accommodation and rent if you live in a different city away from home, which nowadays leaves people in more than £40,000 debt when they leave. However, this debt is not like some other types of debt, in the sense that the interest rate is fairly low, and you're only required to pay back incrementally when you're earning a certain wage. And if you don't earn that wage within a certain number of years, for example 25 years in my case, the whole debt would be written off. So some people don't take it very seriously for that reason. A lot of people, particularly those who haven't worked before coming to uni, so don't really appreciate the full value of money, just spend it willy-nilly on clothes, alcohol, parties, etc. Thankfully I had worked for a year before university, so I didn't do that. But at the same time, I still appreciate that it is a form of debt in my view, although some people would deny that and call it a tax. I don't really think it's a tax. I think it is more a debt than a tax, but I can see why they see it that way, because you pay it back as you earn, almost like a tax. So particularly as some people, when they graduate, they aren't able to find jobs which require a degree, qualified jobs, so they feel almost a bit ripped off, a bit disappointed, to say the least, when they've invested so much time, because a degree could be 4 years plus, 3 or 4 years at plus, and money into the qualification, and then see that they're earning the same as someone that didn't go to university and has no debt, and therefore doesn't owe any money back to the government. So I can see why, this for me is a con, but like I say, it isn't that way for everyone. It depends how you view it, what your views are about money. Going back to the issue to do with people spending money on alcohol, I think there is a whole culture, sadly, at a lot of universities, which is to do with just going out and getting drunk, and promiscuity, drugs as well. So there's that whole level of vulnerability there when a child leaves home. Obviously there'll be an adult by that point, young adult leaves home and is exposed to all these influences away from family. I do think those influences aren't necessarily positive influences, and quite a few people can end up in quite a nasty position because of that. I was more on the other side, so although I wasn't involved in lots of parties or any of those things, I took my studies really seriously, aware that I was spending all this money in order to qualify, etc., and wanting to get the best grade that I could. However, there's another risk there, that you can become quite isolated, and you can put your identity in your work, to the point that if you get any critical feedback as someone that's been academically successful leading up to that point, and then being in a bit of a vulnerable position away from home, family, and spending all your time on that, if you then get a negative feedback, people can take it quite personally, and it can be quite damaging. Also, a lot of people burn out and have all kinds of medical issues, etc., due to the level of stress. As I say, people put their identities into this, and you're being asked for goodness knows how many essays, coursework, exams to be completed. So it is really just like a pressure cooker environment, and it can, like I say, be quite isolating, and everyone around you is also under pressure. And so it can be a bit like living in a fishbowl or something, where you lose perspective of like family, etc., and other hobbies, and it is easy to lose your balance if you're not careful. And like I say, many people end up spending a lot of time alone, hundreds of thousands of hours in the library, which can come at the expense of their physical and mental well-being. Okay, some people also find it difficult because not only are you under a lot more pressure and expected to study and prepare for a lot more assessments, etc., than at A-level, but you at the same time receive slightly less support, because you are expected and encouraged to become an independent learner that can figure things out for yourself, which means that you don't always have the teacher behind you to ask questions to, and to look out for, and to guide you quite as much. So there can be a lack of clarity as to what's expected of you, which can result in disappointment with grades through misunderstanding and lack of information. although I did find tutorials were very helpful, so it's a case of seizing the opportunities that you are offered by lecturers according to their availability, in order to get the support that you need, or as much as possible at least. Okay, so they're the two sides. As you will see, there are many pros and there are many cons, but feel free. I'm not like totally dissing university. Obviously, as I said, I got a degree and it was a valuable experience, and I learned a lot from it and grew a lot as a person through it. So I'm just interested to hear different people's points of view, and just give more information to young people so they know what they're signing up for. Okay, thanks very much for your time. Take care. Bye bye.